What's up, everybody? Moto Jimbo here. I'm going to start a new series of videos on common things that new riders might not know how to do or questions they might have. First one we're going to get at is how to tighten a motorcycle chain. And for demonstration, this is too tight. And I did this just a minute ago to prove a point. When it's so tight, you've got no slack at all. You're going to put too much pressure on your sprockets, and most likely, unless you're lucky, you're going to cause some damage before this thing loosens up. Um, so, what you need to do, and most likely you won't run into this problem until you start actually trying to tighten your chain and you go too far with it. Usually your chain's going to get loose and it's going to need to be tightened, but don't take it this far. That's too much. What you do here is you're going to loosen this lock nut and then adjust this. And where this one is too tight, we're going to take this in, moving the axle forward, which will give us more slack in the chain. So let's check that out. Okay, so here we go. Forgive the dirtiness here and forgive all the sniffling. We've got a little bit of a cold. So, like I said, loosen up that lock nut. Kind of hard to do one-handed. Just make sure that's loose. So where this is too tight, we want some slack in here. So what you'll do is we'll move over to the other side. Loosen this lock nut. Here we go. So we're wanting to give this thing some slack. So we're wanting to back these off. And this is one of the bad parts about the Vader. Most motorcycles have marks here to keep track of where you're at. The Vader does not. So what I do is I just keep track of how many turns I'm going. So there. And I've already done this, and I almost forgot to tell you, make sure to loosen up the axle before you start doing this, or you're not going to move anything. But yeah, so back this off. Stay right there. Usually you want this jacked up off the ground, but I promise you it'll work without doing so. So let's back this one off a little bit as well. It's pretty tight. There we go. So just try to keep them turned the same. But you'll be able to eyeball if you're right. So now I'll show you what I do where I don't get the rear wheel off the ground, how I do this. What you want to do, as you see, we have a little more slack now. I don't get really technical with it. I know some people would throw a fit, but I just make sure I have a decent amount of slack that's not going to slap around. And to make sure that it's moved forward good, I will just go right over here. And I will get my little rubber mallet and just kind of tap at it a little bit. Make sure it's moved this way forward. Yep, still pretty good. And then come back and tighten your lock nut. Get my wrench. Make sure you're just tightening down the lock nut. Oops, see, I moved the other one a little bit, but that's okay. Just make sure not to do it much. There we go. This is really hard to do one-handed. There we go. So, I'll eyeball both sides. Looks pretty even to me. You'll know pretty quick if it's off a little bit because your bike will lean one way or the other when you're not steering. It just won't go straight on its own, basically. Is the best way to explain that. So, then, when you're done with that, go ahead and tighten everything back up, which we'll do right now. And I need to get a tripod for this stuff. Get her tightened down pretty good. Don't want that bitch coming loose. There we go. Check it again. That's pretty good. That's still a little tight, so I'll probably adjust it just a little more. Basically, if it's too loose, the chain's going to slap around. It's going to cause damage. May even come off the sprocket, which is going to suck. If it's over tight, I've already explained that. And once I get my weight on here, that's not going to be too bad. So, but this chain definitely needs to be oiled, cleaned and lubed rather. And I'll show you that, guys. I will show you guys that later. Sorry, I'm out of breath. But I hope you enjoyed the video. And there'll be more of these videos to come. And I'll call it the beginner series or some generic shit like that. Thanks.